Hello and welcome to episode 163 of the Podiatry Business Podcast with myself, Lorcan O'Donaile, podiatrist, health business mentor and owner of the podiatry marketing agency, Podiatry Patients on Tap. So the title of today's podcast is called I Can't Afford Marketing. Now, I would speak to a lot of podiatry clinic owners across the world. So I would have clients from New Zealand all the way to Los Angeles and everywhere in between. And there's a common theme that I would find when they reach out to me. And that is that they want to grow their business. They want to grow their profits. Now, it's not that they're coming to me saying they want to be multimillionaires. But what they are is they feel tied to their business. And they feel they're not getting enough return for the effort that they're put in. And ideally what they want is they want to get a greater return in cash terms without having to kill themselves. And they'd like ideally to be able to work less in the business while doing so, which of course they can do. But one of the first things that they'll think that they need is that they'll feel they need to have more new patients, that maybe more new patients is the answer. That's often the case, that they feel that that is the case. Now, they can be right, but it isn't the only thing. Now, I understand that other clinics maybe have plenty of patients, but they're just burnt out from it. But we're talking about marketing. So they think that marketing is the answer. Now, marketing is hugely important. And if you don't have a systemized or organized marketing system in your business, well, really, you don't really have a business that's not completely tied to you. If you want to find out more about that, you can, of course, get a copy of my latest book, Podiatry Patients on Tap. You can buy it on Amazon, or if you want a PDF copy for free, just go to my website, podiatrypatientsontap.com. Anyway, these clients want to do marketing. And then when I have a conversation with them, what we find is they don't have any spare cash, or they don't have a whole lot of spare cash. So they're in a catch-22 where they want to build their business, they want to make more money, but they don't really have any money to invest to do so. And that is a sticky situation because they know, well, I need to do marketing, but how am I going to do that if I don't have any money to do that? And it's not as hard as you might think, because I've helped many podiatry clinic owners do this. Now, there are various things that I do with my team for clinic owners. So, for example, we do simply business coaching. We do, in our marketing agency, we do website and SEO. So we do a website that will capture leads from using SEO, no paid marketing and so on. And we convert them and put them into become patients using AI and so on, all the way to the other end, which is our full marketing service. We pretty much do everything. And my follow-up team will actually book the patients in for you. Now, that costs a lot of different, it's a spectrum, obviously. So it can cost as little as €100 per week, all the way up to over €2,500 per month for the full service, depending on the client, depending on what it is we're doing for them, whether we're using AI, voice, etc., etc. But the point I'm making is some clients will come along and they'll want the full service, or they'll want somewhere that's costing them more. But I will not allow a client or a clinic owner to spend anything that I feel they can't afford. So if they come to me and say, listen, I want that thing there, and that thing there cost me, for example, $2,000 a month, and I know they just don't have the spare cash, and it would be entirely unethical of me to take their money at that level. Yes, it would help, etc., but it's going to put them under so much pressure that that's not what they need. So I have certain red lines that I have within my business that I know if you're not turning over this, I'm not going to give you this because it's not going to work and it's going to stress you out and that's not what you need. But at the same time, I need to be able to help you. So if you can't afford it, what else can you do? And there are things that you can do. So instead, what I will do is I will help them to do what they can afford. Now, that is my determination of what I think, because quite commonly they'll come in and they'll say, listen, I'll almost remortgage my house. And that's not what I want at all. I want clinic owners to not get any more stressed than they are right now, because I've been that person. I've walked that road. I want them to have less stress and not put themselves under more financial pressure. So we don't do that. So example of that might be somebody might come along and I say, listen, do you know what we'll do? Let's just do some business coaching to begin with. And what we'll do is we'll raise some income from that Or we might say, you know what we'll do? We'll do some marketing, but we won't do any paid marketing. We won't spend any money on paid ads. We'll just use your database because your database is cheap. It's there. It's not going to cost us really a whole lot of anything to reactivate that. That can generate, all of these things will generate more income, more turnover on a consistent basis, which can then allow you to move up and spend more money on your marketing depending on what you want. Another example might be, we have a client at the moment who, when they came to us originally, I simply wouldn't do their marketing for them because I knew they couldn't afford it, even though they wanted me to. So we just did some business coaching. Then once we got them to the point where we knew that they could afford it, we started to do some marketing. But they still, I wasn't comfortable with them spending a lot of money on Google ads, because Google ads is expensive to run. So instead, to do it well, we said, let's just do some Facebook ads because it's much cheaper and we can start to raise some income from that. It's grown their business to the point now where they're able to start to do Google ads, which will give them better quality leads and a more consistent, easier to convert type of patient. So we've done it step by step. So what I'm trying to say is that what you want to be doing is doing it within the comfort zone that you have and within your financial assets. Don't feel like you need to stretch yourself to do marketing. You can do completely free marketing that will generate your new business and build your business from there, and so on. So an example of this is Claire Dawson. So Claire Dawson is a podiatrist who came to me. And what I'm going to do is, and she was in the same position, wanted to grow the business and so on, wanted me to do marketing, the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is, I did an interview with Claire just this week. I'm going to play that interview. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I explain to you exactly what we did with Claire and how do we manage to grow her business, double her profits, you'll hear her say, over a 4-month period without actually putting her under more financial strain, which is not what we want. Okay, Claire, you might introduce yourself to anybody watching this.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Claire. I'm a podiatrist and business owner. I graduated 2014, so I've been going just over 10 years now. And my clinic is in the northeast of England. It's called Berkeley Foot Clinic.
Okay, great. So why did you join More Practice Profits? What was it that forced you to reach out to us and to join us, get our help?
I tried some other online coaching programs and just couldn't quite unlock the potential in the business. I'd been listening to your podcast, Lorcan, and just really liked your approach and felt like you'd be able to help us.
Okay. And what was your biggest problem with your business or with your marketing prior to joining us?
I think the marketing was something that we struggled with altogether. We just needed some help, some hand holding with that, and some guidance on how to do it and how to do it properly and efficiently. Um, and I think just help with a general running of the business. Obviously, you qualify as a healthcare professional, not as a business person. So just some help with that side of things.
And how are things different now from those frustrations with marketing and so on? How does it feel different?
So the marketing, I don't even have to think about. You guys do everything for that, which is amazing. And the business, we've like more than doubled our profits since what, 4 months since we started the program. So I'm delighted with it.
Okay, so working together just over 4 months and your profits have doubled since you joined
Yeah,
us. Okay.
yeah,
Okay, and not from a very small base, they've doubles from to a substantial place. It's pretty much
yeah.
okay.
I mean, we were doing okay before, but just couldn't quite get past where we wanted to go. And now I feel like the potential's unlimited.
Okay. What is the best part of being a client or a member of our coaching group?
I think definitely the hand holding and the support, like having being able to jump on one of 4 calls a week is brilliant. Like, I haven't had that in previous coaching I've had. It's just been maybe once a month or something, or put it in the Facebook group. So having the calls there is great. Obviously, we've got the online learning to tap into, and you've got the community there with other practice owners who are in the same position or have been. So we can ask them for advice too, which is good.
Okay. And so other podiatry clinic owners possibly watching this conversation and would considering joining our service, you've had both the marketing and the business coaching. Would you recommend that to them?
100%. I already have. Everyone I speak to, I tell them, you need to speak to Lorcan, listen to his podcast in the car and give him a shout.
Okay. Okay, so that's Claire, and you can see from Claire that she has doubled her business over a very short period of time. Now, that's not necessarily always typical. We do find, and it's if you look at More Practice Profits, we say underneath, we help you double your profits in 12 months. Literally, if clients do what we tell them, that's pretty straightforward. But Claire, you can see, has got a good result. How did we do it? What did we do? Well, what we did first with Claire is I was not comfortable spending a significant chunk of her turnover on marketing and on my fees. So therefore, I wouldn't do that. And we started with a lower cost. And what we did first is we said, well, let's look at your current business and let's optimize what you have in your current business. So what do I mean by that? So we looked at her pricing, we looked at her packaging, we looked at her rebooking. We started to get to know her KPIs because Claire needed to know where was she spending money that she shouldn't be? Where was she losing money that she shouldn't be? And so on and so forth. Now, I go through this in detail in this podcast and the past, and you can get a copy of my book, The Podiatry Business Success Secrets, and it gives you everything there. Once we'd done that and we'd started to generate more cash, we then used that to reinvest in a new website. So we rebuilt Claire's website, and you're welcome to go and have a look at it. And essentially what it does is it is a website that captures people that aren't ready to book now. And then it has an automation system built in the background with email, with SMS, with AI, and so on, that is encouraging these people to book in that otherwise weren't ready to book in. And it works, okay? And I've talked about this before. And we also plugged into that SEO and reactivation of her database, which was all relatively low cost compared to what she wanted to start with. Again, it built the business more. Then once we got that done, and I felt it was appropriate, we then added in Facebook ads, because Facebook ads is pretty cheap to run. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money. So in my clinic, for example, I spend, I think, $400 a month on Facebook ads. And you can start Facebook ads for $100 a month. So I would often have clients that come along, they don't have a whole lot of cash, and I'd say, let's do some Facebook ads. Let's just run one ad, okay? And I would know the type of ad that I know is going to make them some money. And let's just spend £3 a day. £3 a day is less than you spend on a coffee in most cases. So we used that with Claire. That was a huge success with Claire, massive success. It really just skyrocketed her business. That's what she's talking about there. And then lastly, what we're currently doing with Claire is we're currently starting to look at more expensive paid ads like Google ads and so on, which is going to give her a different type of clientele, but a much more solid business. And Claire, what she doesn't tell you in that interview, is now at a point where her business is almost at complete capacity, and she's looking at maybe opening a second clinic. Perhaps, who knows what she's going to do. But the point is that Claire, that interview, is in most cases people who are watching this, they're just like Claire. So if you're stuck, if you're in a position where you're feeling stuck, you feel tied to your business, you feel that you've almost got a millstone around your neck and you want to do something about it, but you think, I don't have any money or a whole lot of spare cash, you can start at zero cash cost. It doesn't cost you money to get started. Now, I could be here a long time trying to tell you what to do. So rather than that, I'm just going to say, just go to my website, podiatrypatientsOnTap.com, download this book. I've got everything that you possibly need to do in that. I've given everything away, and you can start there. So there's tips and tricks and so on in that you can start to use for zero cost. So a very quick example of something you can do is you do an offer to your current database via email. You might put it on your Facebook page rather than paid ads, and that costs you nothing. Zero to do that. You might send it out via SMS, you might put some offer up in the clinic and so on, and that will help to generate cash. Also, applying good quality business principles to your business costs you nothing to apply that and make more income from it. We talked about this in the past about the 5 levers of generating more turnover, more profits for your business. Then you can add in low cost, like I said, Facebook ads, maybe a website that converts patients even while you're not open. That is maybe you're adding in an AI bot that is booking patients in while you sleep. AI voice is even available now. And then you build piece by piece your marketing system at the level that's appropriate for your clinic and the price and spend that you feel comfortable with. What you do not need is to go to somebody, a marketing agency, that says to you, you need to spend all your money on this, because you can't take that risk, and you don't know in a lot of cases that this is going to work for you, and your cash flow is so tight that you can't take that risk and you can't invest. So my suggestion is, when you say to yourself, I can't afford to do marketing, you can do marketing at zero cost. Start today, do something, start to apply, do some study, and go from there, and be like Claire. Why not? So I hope that helps. I hope it gives you some inspiration on what you can do in your business. And until next time, this is Lorcan O'Donaile from Podiatry Patients on Tap, up here, signing out.